Yeah, it's a good way to break windows.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You want to crack your window? Go ahead. Pour
I've
hot
heard of
water
that.
on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much that it cracks the
Anybody
window.
want to answer Keith's question about how quick an electric car heats up?
Yeah, I can. I spent 35 years in the Mercedes-Benz repair business, so I got a little bit of a handle on cars. And we're on our fourth Tesla now, and I can tell you that, as many people suggest, I found the best way to warm up the interior is heat your seat. That's the key, is heat your seat and then worry about heating the cabin, because that's where you're going to feel it most quickly. Where you run into problem is, resistance heat by its nature takes a tremendous amount of energy. You think about a toaster, it's the same concept. You're essentially, with an electric car, a lot of times putting a grid there to blow air over to get the front windshield defrosted. Other manufacturers have come up with a better idea, like the heat pump, which is more effective.
Well, I'm glad to see you guys went ahead and got started without us.
We don't need you.
This is
How
like
are you?
herding cats.
Welcome, everyone. Happy holidays. It's so nice to see you all. It's great to hear the conversation already getting started, and I'm glad that we have lots of you joining us. Looks like we have 107 of you wonderful ambassadors. So thank you guys so much for being here with us today. We have a packed agenda, and I have Quincy here from my team. I have Audra as well sharing, and we have lots of special guests coming up. So I think you guys are going to be excited to hear what we have in store for you today. So please go ahead and if you haven't already, just introduce yourself in the chat. So you can say a little bit about yourself and, how long you've been an Aptera fan, what type of Aptera you have reserved, anything that you guys would want to share. Please feel free to shout that out in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, awesome. We're really excited to get started. So if everyone can just go ahead and mute yourselves on Zoom, I think that'll probably be the easiest way for us to get started.
Yes. Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. And Audra's driving, so go ahead, Audra.
Alrighty, here we go. I'm so sorry.
No problem. Sometimes it's a little tricky. There we go. Okay, so just a quick run through of our agenda here. We're going to give you guys an update about Aptera and what's been happening with us. We have been incredibly busy over the past couple of weeks and months, getting as much as we possibly can get done before the end of the year. Then we're going to be introducing our new ambassador program manager. We are so excited to have Ann Cox join us today. And the reason why Ann is joining is because we have over 500 ambassadors now from all over the world who are dedicating their time and their talents, just like everyone on the phone here today. We're so grateful to have you. And so Ann's going to be helping in organizing our group, and we're going to talk a little bit with Ann later. Then we will be getting a government affairs update from Dwayne, our incredible lobbyist from the Livingston Group in Washington, D.C. Then we'll be doing a live Q&A. And then we're going to go into some community discussions. And this is something that we haven't done on these calls, but we really wanted to. We're going to test it out. Might get a little wild and crazy. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with everyone joining in, but I'm really excited to see all of the discussions that are going to happen. So we're going to do that on a committee basis. So we're going to start off with the communications committee, give you a chance to one of our members to share, and then give you guys a chance to have a little bit of a discussion. Then we'll go into the events committee and then move on into the government committee. So that is the agenda. Like I said, we anticipate it'll take at least an hour, if not a little longer. So feel free to stay as long as you can. If for some reason you do have to leave, never fear, we are recording today's session for you. So without any further ado, we will dive in. This is actually one of the first glimpses I think we've given anyone into what our space is looking like. And this is our 80,000 square foot facility that's up in Carlsbad. And right now it's currently in the process of demolition. So as far as what's happening with Aptera, we also have, as you guys know, our separate beta development space. And right now what's happening in that space is that beta bodies, it's a tongue twister, beta bodies are being bonded. So it's a really interesting process. There's lots of phases of that process and lots of hands-on attention and activity from our engineers. So over the next couple of weeks, we have discussed that we're going to be sharing a lot of visuals and details on exactly what there is to see with the beta bodies and what progress we're making, and some of the changes that we're going to be making to our bodies, and giving you guys a little bit of background around what's happening and why that is happening. So that's really exciting as well. We've also signed several parts agreements. So that's really good news. As you know, the global supply chain has been in quite a mess. And so we're very, very fortunate to have some parts agreements, and we're excited to share more. I can't share more today. I really want to, but we will be able to share more soon. But I wanted to give you guys the confidence to know that things are absolutely happening, and exciting stuff is moving forward, and we will be able to share that soon. So for now, we're just kind of getting settled in our new phase and moving forward. Next here, we're going to talk a little bit about our fundraising round, and we've had lots of requests from everyone. I know we have many investors who are amongst our ranks of ambassadors here today, but we did want to let you know we do anticipate our fundraising round to be closing sometime up ahead soon. Now, for legal reasons, we're not able to share exactly when. We may be able to as it gets a little bit closer, but we just wanted to make sure that everyone has a heads up that if you are thinking about investing, a good time to think about that would be coming up before the new year. We will probably hopefully try to give you a more precise date if any changes are going to be happening, but just wanted to encourage you guys and kind of give you a fair warning that it will be probably coming to a close sometime in the coming weeks up ahead between now and through the new year. So that is something good to know. We have 15,000 reservation holders. We actually have a lot more actual reservations because we have some reservation holders, maybe even some who are, amongst you here who have multiple vehicles on order, but we have 15,000 reservation holders from all over the world, and that's over $500 million in pre-orders. So that's really super exciting for us. We're honored and excited. The momentum just keeps going. And I think that's really a testament to all of the hard work that everyone has been doing on the call here today to be able to really help us in driving that exposure and just keeping the excitement going. So that's really wonderful. We're also excited to say that we are hoping, we're not 100% sure, but we are really hoping to try to bring Aptera to CES in early January. That's the Consumer Electronics Show. And we're hoping that if any of you are near in the area or can get there, it would be a chance for you to see Aptera. It's going to be one of the first offsite events that we'll be having. So one thing that we are requesting, and we are hoping if anyone has venue connections or media connections. So if you know a really cool spot where we could have Aptera there, and we could have influencers come and media come and do maybe investors come. If there are any ideas that you have or any media that you know that's in the area, if you could share that with our team, that would be incredibly helpful, because this event is coming up so quickly and it's really exciting for us, but we want to make the most of it. So if you have any kind of leads on how we can make that event as successful as possible, that would be very helpful for us. So stay tuned for more information coming soon. I think we'll have Larry, who's one of our amazing ambassadors, who's helping to coordinate that. And we're going to give him a chance to share a little bit more about what he's thinking and hoping to do sometime soon up ahead. All right. And then this is a direct testament to all of the amazing work that you guys have been doing. I know many of you are so dedicated in helping to share our message and share our content and post on social media. It's really incredible, the social media growth that we have seen across all of our channels. And by channels, we mean Facebook and Instagram and Reddit and all of the different platforms, YouTube, where Aptera is present. We now have over 149,000 fans across all of those channels. And I believe that chart that you're looking at, it shows our growth in comparison to all of our quote unquote competitors. While we don't really think we have, direct competitors in the market, what we have at Aptera is so unique. You can see here that our growth, I believe this is over a year-to-year time frame. It looks like we are 230% from where we were starting a year ago. So that's incredible. 44% increase in the past 90 days alone. And that's in the past 90 days, that's almost 50,000 new fans, or 44,000. So that's incredible. Wow, really, I think I typed this very late at night. So apologize, 61,000, 4,000. I think it was supposed to be 61,400 likes, comments, and shares. And that's very powerful, so 37% over the past 90 days. And I thought this was crazy. Just on our, we've been doing these Aptera updates, and for us, it's a way of being transparent with you and sharing even just the little wins that we have, and making sure that you guys are all up to speed on the progress that we're making. So these Aptera updates that we've started doing have actually become really popular. And this last one that we did had over 41,678 views just on that YouTube video alone. So I find that incredible. And a lot of this credit goes to you, our ambassadors, for supporting us and sharing about us. And we thank you so much for that. So that was exciting for us to see here in the marketing department. And then, now we have an exciting and fun thing that we're going to do. We have Vidar, he is Aptera's lead integration engineer, and he's going to be giving us a bit of a beta development update. So we're going to give you a chance to hear a little bit more about what is happening. So hopefully he's on here. It's hard to scrolling through all the hundreds of you amazing fans out there.
Yeah, if your name's Vidar,
go
raise your hand.
again, go ahead.
I'm right here. Yes,
Oh,
I am.
Okay, fantastic. We'll see if we can spotlight his video for you guys here. So go ahead. And why don't you start just by introducing yourself, and maybe just share a little bit about, what you do at Aptera, and then maybe a little bit of an update there.
See, we have video and audio on me.
Yeah,
Does that work.
We're working on that right now. So go ahead. And,
perfect.
Josh gave us a thumbs
Oh,
up.
here we
There
go. Okay, we see you. I'm gonna try to spotlight you.
There we go.
Right, you're on the spot.
Let's see. Is that better? Okay. Okay. I will try to give you a little bit more of an exciting background here in a second. Good morning, everyone. It's super exciting to be part of this. This is my first ambassador interaction. I've been with Aptera for a short period of time. I've been with Aptera for only 6 weeks. And my background is, you may hear a little bit of an accent, and I am originally from Sweden. I worked for Volvo many years, but I've also been in the electric vehicle development for most of my career. And I was lucky to have worked with one of Aptera's more senior employees, Brian. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, we might need someone like you." And I'm super excited. I get what do you call it? Goosebumps. I get goosebumps because this is really so cool. This is like joining the Apollo program in the late 60s. We're doing something that's never been done. The team is growing. The cars are also in a way growing, the beta vehicles. I'll show you a little bit more about that. And guide me here a little bit if you want, Sarah and Do you want me to go through the slides first, or do you want me to go over and show a little bit more of what we're
Why
doing
don't you
at
show a
Aptera?
little bit more? First off, can I just ask, I'm having a hard time finding who needs to be muted here. And so if you guys wouldn't mind, we're getting a little bit of feedback. So if everyone who's on, who's not Vidar, if you guys could just mute, I think that would be really helpful. I'm just hearing a little bit of feedback. So if you guys don't mind, I think that would be amazing. Perfect. Okay. Oops. All right.
Okay.
Oh, that really helped. Thank you for whoever did that. That's great. Perfect. Why don't you go ahead? You're welcome to share your screen if you want to go ahead and give a little bit of a background. I think you should be able to share. You should have the ability to share. So go ahead. If
Sure.
Let's see if we can make it
I
happen.
will stay on this slide for a second, and we have an open door policy, but I will close the door for audio reasons here. Yes, as you've heard, we will have 6 to 12 beta vehicles. That depends on how you count. The alphas, the 3 alphas that you've seen and we've all seen and we all love, they look great, but they are not as close to production design as the betas. The purpose of the betas is to get closer to production design with every step, and also to test out different subsystems and make sure that all the different subsystems on the vehicle are performing as we want them to, and also to be able to make tuning and do some variation in between the designs to make sure that we have the best solution. Also to get a balance between everything. Like you see there, we mentioned 3D part scanning, laser object detection process. We're building betas in the virtual world. What we mean with that is that at the same time as we're building the actual cars, we're building the prototypes, we're also being able to confirm what goes on in the virtual world matches what goes in the real world. What goes on in CAD, computer-aided design, what we see with all the objects inside the computer-aided design is matching what we see when we actually build the cars. In the same way as we're checking all the dimensions, we're checking the weights, we're checking the materials, and making sure that everything is the same thing in the computer as it's in reality. We are, for this purpose, growing our engineering team, our build team, both our engineering team, our testing team, and our building team. And the goal is to be over 150 engineers. That is a challenge. We have a lot of hiring to do. So I'm very happy to report that just late last night, I had two accept letters come in on email. So we have a couple of engineers that are starting here very soon. We've added about 20 between the build team and the engineering team to assist with the beta builds, like you see on the screen. And you will see a little more here on the screen in a second. So if I may, let's see here. Let's see if I can switch. I'm going to walk around here a little bit.
Ooh,
all right.
Are you at the beta facility?
Oh, I am indeed.
That is unexpected.
So,
very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah. So you see Noir in the background here. You see that? And you see body parts that we just carried in late last night. I am going to do this. Here we have the engineering team sitting. Here is where our build buck is. And as you can see, parts are coming together. You can even see here how we are getting things together. And if you look at this screen here, this is right there where we have the virtual model here. So while we're building, we're making sure that everything that goes into the car is the same. So this is our awesome facility. We have a lot of things going on. giving you a quick sweep here. What's going on? You see these shelves, they need to be filled, and we're working on that. So there's a lot of activity. The team here is at full speed, and as you can tell, this is my world. Parts, and a lot of things going on. So yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of questions. I'm really lucky, so this is what it looks like. This is Vidar and Charlie. That's my office, and I'm right here. So I'm dead center in the action, and yeah, that's where we are. Let's see. Do we have any questions from the marketing team? Any points that I should be hitting?
I think that's great. I think that's really exciting. I'm hoping that our ambassadors really understood kind of that idea around the 3D aspect. I think that's something that we haven't really talked a lot about. So I don't know, is there anything that you want to share along those lines or anything in more depth around that? I think that's a really cool component that I think we should do like a whole video on that at some point soon. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and I can I can comment on that as the engineering team. What we need to do is my role is to be the lead integration engineer. What that means is that all of the components, all of the systems on the vehicle, on the car, they need to be able to communicate with each other. So that's one of my responsibilities. They need to integrate. If you're driving your vehicle, if you're driving your car, if you put your foot on the gas, you need that gas pedal to talk to the rest of the car. So when you push on the gas, something happens. So there's all of the integration, all of the communication in the car is something that I'm responsible for, to make sure that all the parts are interacting. And you pop the hood of your car, you see a bunch of wires. We call them harnesses. So that's one of the things I do. I need to make sure that everything is able to communicate. All the parts and all the systems need to communicate with each other. So that's one of my responsibilities, and that is done through wire harnesses. The other thing that we do, and to comment on what you mentioned about the virtual world, when we design a car, we do all the design in a computer. On the computer, we call it CAD, computer aided design. This is done in different. Sorry, that's Alexa. Look at that. Alexa was responding there. And what we do there is that once we have designed a part, we can then send that and get that built, either as just one part for a prototype, or 10 parts, or 100, or 10,000. So we design a part in the computer. We put it as a part of the whole car in the computer. And what we can also do with this is that we can also run a bunch of test and analysis in the virtual world. With this, we don't have to build as many. So like you saw, we're building 6 or more vehicles, and that depends on how you count. So we're building different prototypes, different beta prototypes for different kinds of tests, different kinds of systems. If we didn't have the ability to do all what we're able to do as test and development and simulation in a virtual world, then we would have to build so many more, and that would take longer time. It would be more work. We would have to go backtrack much more, and we would have to spend a lot of more time and money. So keeping the virtual world aligned with the real world, meaning the car in the computer and the car in the real world, they need to match. So that's what we're able to do. And what we're able to do here is we're able to see see and test everything as we build. So that's super exciting. As you see, this building that we're in, we're kind of still moving in. We're still working on getting everything set up, but we're being efficient. So that means that we're building at the same time as we're putting tables in, and that's part of being part of Aptera. So it's a really exciting thing.
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're there and you were able to give everyone a peek at our facility. And I think, as you guys know, a big focus for us in sharing our progress at Aptera is giving you the opportunity to hear from our team. And, Vidar is just one of our incredible engineering team who literally are working around the clock, Saturdays, late nights, to make sure that we can deliver our vehicles to you as quickly as possible. So it's really wonderful to see our team growing and all of the talent that's coming on board. And it's getting very exciting. So hopefully you guys learned something and appreciated being able to hear from him. And this is something that we'll continue to share with you and continue to give you guys the opportunity to hear from our rock stars, our celebrities here at Aptera. And that's the team making our vehicles, our makers. We're very grateful to them as well. So thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you, and thank you for I saw the comments on the chat there about the accelerator pedal, the gas pedal, the E pedal. That was really good comments. Thank you so much for that. That was great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vidar.
Wonderful. Okay, thanks, Audra, for moving it on here. Our next special guest is Ann Cox, and Ann's going to be working with our chair person, John, and the rest of our team to really help us on the ground here in San Diego and helping to put more framework together. She's going to share a little bit about her background and what she's going to be helping to do, but it's a good problem to have, but we have our hands full with this amazing group of all of you ambassadors who are here with us, plus many more. And we really want to make the most of all of your incredible ideas and insights. And there is just, I'm continually blown away by, the plans and the proposals and the suggestions and the connections and the opportunities that you guys are bringing to the table. And it's exactly what we've been asking you to do. And we want to make sure that we're maximizing that. So I want to make sure that we are taking the time to listen to everyone, to consider everyone's proposals, to help to put plans in place to execute on the ideas that you guys are bringing to us. And so that's part of why we are bringing Ann on board, to really help us put a little bit more structure in place to ensure that all of this amazing knowledge and resources and everything you guys are doing actually can go to work for us. So that's really exciting. So we'll let Ann take over now and introduce herself, and we'll go from there.
Well, good morning. I'm delighted to be here. First, I want to tell you how I found out about Aptera. About a dozen years ago, I went to the Del Mar Fair and stood in a very long line just for the chance to slip into the driver's seat of an Aptera. And that's all it took. I told Chris, who was holding the door open, I didn't know who he was then, but I told him, I'm going to have one of these one day. And guess what? I'm an investor, I'm a reservation holder, and now I get to work here. And today's my first day. So it's been quite a journey so far. And I can't wait to learn more about what I can do with you. I know that you are highly motivated and well-educated. Quincy got me into the private forums this weekend, so I had a chance to look at your comments. I saw how respectful you are with each other, even when you disagree, and you have amazing ideas. I know we're going to do some great things together, and I sincerely look forward to that. So I'm ready to get started.
All right. Well, I hope you're ready. So feel free. Ann is going to be, as you guys know, Audra has been helping and not only helping answering all of the emails that come into the info at email address, but also handling the ambassador program. So that ambassador email address that you guys can use and send suggestions to. Anne is going to be at the other end of that email. So when you email or if you have suggestions, that's the best way to reach her. It's ambassador@aptera.us. And so feel free. She does have, of course, we've saved and archived all of the things that you've already shared with us. So she's in the process of going through hundreds of emails and ideas and all of the great things that you've brought to the table so far. But please feel free to share those, because it's really incredible, the ideas and the support that you guys are providing. We want her to know about all the great work that you're doing. So please feel free to contact her, and she'll be responding. Great, thank you. Okay, moving right along here. We have our incredible government affairs guru, that's Dwayne. And Dwayne's going to give us an update on what's been happening on the Hill. And thanks to all of the hard work of our team here on the Zoom call, we've made a lot of progress, and we have just an incredibly exciting future coming up ahead. So I'll let Dwayne give an update on what the progress that we've been making and what's happening on that side of things.
Great. Thanks a lot, Sarah and Quincy and Audra. I start with the proposition of this. The only thing better than an Aptera is an Aptera that costs you $7,500 less. And so our program with the federal government, and in working with the federal government, began, oh my gosh, probably I'd say a year before this group was even formed. And the company had the foresight to engage with the government. And our engagement with the government has led us to a place where, if you all have been following some of the Washington, D.C. ongoings, it's led us to a place where we have, in a draft bill that has passed the House, a tax credit that would enable any Aptera purchaser to get $7,500 off of the vehicle. What that means is if you would purchase the vehicle, you would simply assign your tax credit to the company, and that amount of money would go off the bottom line, or the sticker price of the vehicle. And so you'd pay $7,500 less than you now pay. Now, this bill has passed the U.S. House. It is pending in the U.S. Senate. It's being held up by a couple of Democratic senators who don't necessarily have a problem with our provision. They have problems with other provisions that are in the bill. My prediction is that will work itself out. It will work itself out probably by Christmas Eve, because Congress is scheduled to leave Washington, D.C. this Friday, be gone all next week, and be back on the 20th of December to work through probably the 23rd or 24th of December, at which time I think it's probable that bill will pass. And that is it's called if you're following these things in detail, if you're into some of the politics, it's called the Build Back Better bill. It's the Biden budget reconciliation bill, and others have called it. And what that does is that sets up all the tax policies and the spend policies going forward for the next several years. The way we have the tax credit now, and again, there's no guarantee that this is actually going to happen, but we are closer than we've ever been. But the way it's set up, I think it would help every purchaser of the vehicle. It would help the company, and it would help better address global climate change, because we get more Aptera vehicles in the hands of more people due to this effective discount on the vehicle. So that is one of the things that I think is the biggest deal thing that we're working on, that truly affects every single person on this call and every single person who you can influence, who is in your circle, who's interested in the same types of things, which is efficient transportation, low impact to the environment, low impact to air quality, and essentially what could be free travel for about 40 miles a day once you own the vehicle. So that's point number one. And I'd be happy to take one question on that if anyone has a question.
Let's see if there's any in the chat here.
Okay, so there was from Steve, and it was about the $2,500 figure that's in one of the House Pass bills. That's not the House Pass bill. That's the number on a prior version. It wasn't reported yet. It's in the congressional record. The bill that actually passed is printed in the congressional record. It has the $7,500 revision. It also has the transferability to the company, or to the dealer, which essentially is the company, and it also has the refundability, which basically means if someone doesn't owe tax and they're acquiring the credit, that they still get the credit and they can still transfer it to the company. Effectively, you don't have to transfer it to the company. You could pay full price for the vehicle and then get it off your taxes later. But for a matter of convenience, it's a lot easier to get it off the sticker, I would think. So that's the answer to that question. Any more? And I see there's people are saying they have ideas to share and this type of thing. If you pass those to the Aptera internal team there, they'll fish those out and they'll send those over to me, and we could have a sidebar conversation about them. There's a lot in play here. We're also working on something else that's very interesting. And I'll just cover this briefly. The Department of Transportation has a loan program for companies that build efficient vehicles. I actually wrote an amendment to that for Aptera a decade ago, more than a decade ago, 12 years ago. And that program is still funded. It's still got billions of dollars in it. And so we're looking at a potential application for some of the factory activities that we're doing in that program. The other thing I'll tell you about our government affairs program is that we're reaching out to a lot of different offices, starting in the Southern California area, given that the company is located in Southern California, but we're reaching into other areas now, into Texas, into Ohio, into East Coast states, and to talk to different members of Congress who are on key committees that we're going to need to understand the benefits of our vehicle and the enthusiasm that all of you bring to it. So one of the things that the company will be working on in the near future is marshaling the ambassador, army, so that when we do engage politically, whether it's at the federal level or the state level, to the extent that you all have an interest or connections that would work for us federally with your local representatives, it helps. Believe me, I worked on the other side of this for a long time. And when constituents call members of Congress or write members of Congress, it matters. And so hopefully with the large showing that we have in our ambassador army, the better we will be able to effectuate what we need to happen for the company and for the consumers that the company has, is trying to please. So I guess with that, if there's any other questions, happy to take them. Other than that, back to you guys, Sarah and Quincy.
Yeah, it seems like there are some questions, but we'll go ahead and it's like, I think a little bit, there are some logistical questions. So we'll make sure that you guys get those answered. As you can see, we do have a special guest who's joined us, our fearless leader, Chris Anthony. So I wanted to be able to have you guys hear a little bit from Chris, and then also he's going to be taking some questions. So that's going to happen right now. So, hey.
I'm glad you guys, I'm glad everybody got to meet Vidar and Dwayne. Vidar is doing some amazing stuff for us up in our newly anointed shop up in Carlsbad. It's part of our new 100,000 square foot effort up there, but it gets us really going on betas, and hopefully things will come together nicely towards the end of the year. But as you can see, there's a lot going on in a lot of different places right now. We've got our new big building that's coming together. They just finished demo and they're starting construction on the big 80,000 square foot. And we're working on another 15,000 square foot that's like 200 yards away from that. And then Vidar's in a third facility, which is kind of a temporary facility, but I think that's like 17,000 square feet. So we're doing composite work and obviously the beta assembly work and possibly some solar and battery pack work there too. And then we're in our office down south in Sorrento Valley, which is another 8,000 square feet, which has been too cramped for comfort over the last couple months. So it's nice to be able to spread our wings. So thanks for the update, Vidar. And Dwayne is doing some amazing things for us on the legislative front. And guys, please don't underestimate the power of non-dilutive funding and the things that Dwayne is working on for us. That ATVM loan could be an amazing thing for Aptera, and to have the legislation to change the acceptance threshold for those types of programs is really awesome for us. There's $17 billion in that program. So, we just need a fraction of that. So thanks, Dwayne, for the update and for all your hard work and what you do. But happy to open it up for questions. Any other things you guys feel I might need to address?
Yeah, we have some raised hands here. So thanks. We appreciate that. It looks like I've got Jonathan up first. Jonathan, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask Chris a question, go.
Sure. Morning, Chris. Would you care to comment on your approach towards the resistive heating versus heat pump at this point?
We would love to have a heat pump strategy, but everyone is telling us that the heat pump development programs are lengthy in the 2+ year range. So it doesn't really fit with our timing. We're trying to work with vendors on a resistive heat for now, and some other additive cooling programs, like cooling through our seats instead of having to pump all that through the dash. We're trying to work with vendors that have both those technologies and heat pump technology so we can build into the future. But we don't have a current plan for heat pump just because the development timing just takes too darn long, unfortunately.
Great question. Thanks. Okay, Raj, you're up next.
I had a question about the side mirrors. Do you have a backup plan if you have to do mirrors, and maybe the purchasers could remove it and put the camera there if it has to go that route, or any thoughts on that?
Much like Elon with the Cybertruck, we will have to have a mirror. Fortunately, we're in the motorcycle regime from a regulatory perspective, which means we need one side mirror that has to be 18 inches off center. It's an annoying provision because we have to have 10 square inches, 10 square extra inches on something as aerodynamic as the Aptera. Just sucks. We wish that the regulators would step up to the plate and be like Europe and Japan and just be accepting of, video to screen technologies for side view. It gives you better night vision. It gives you wider angles of view. There's so many good things that come from a digital system, but America hasn't caught up yet. So we will have to have a mirror on at least the driver's side of the Aptera. We've kind of shuffled that down the priority list because we have so many challenges to tackle as we approach production. But yeah, that's the basic answer. We will have to have at least one mirror.
We have a couple of people asking, can we make the mirror removable? Is that an option?
Unlike Elon, who can be bold enough now with his public statements, I think the answer is we will have at least one mirror on the driver's side of the vehicle to be compliant with FMVSS regulations.
Great. Okay. All right, Steve, you're up next.
Yeah, hi. Hey, thanks, Chris, for answering our questions. Two questions. One is, Aptera is such a unique looking vehicle. that I think it will attract a lot of attention, positive and negative. And I was wondering, are there thoughts about having like a sentry mode dash cam like the Teslas have? Because, you know, for the bad attention, also for the good attention, maybe fun video to see people gawking at it while it's parked. And then two, are there any thoughts of having like an MC4 plug to put on like external solar panels if we want to like take it camping and put some solar panels in the back and just hook it up for extra solar charging?
Yeah, I can't say that we've talked about a Century mode yet, because another thing that's down on the priority list. You know, UI UX is much higher, and then the vision system in general is much higher. We have talked about kind of a 360 view, so you can see, you know, like parking situations. And those are just downward facing cameras, basically where the camera pods will be. But that will also give us the ability to kind of have a Century mode. You would at least know when somebody's in proximity of the vehicle, so you can start to record that stuff. I don't see it as a big technical hurdle once we have the vision systems in place to record it, but we haven't put any effort into that yet. On the MC4 plug or a similar plug for additional solar, we have talked about that, and we have made provisions in our solar charging hardware, so we can double up at least the 700 watts of solar, you know, up to over a kilowatt of solar. So it is possible that you could take, you know, something camping that you could unfold, or, you know, possibly in the future if we have some towables, that those towables could also have solar on it too. But we haven't talked about, you know, what standard those plugs are, or we haven't gotten to that point yet. We've just built it into the hardware on the power conversion side to make sure that we have some extra headroom to take extra solar. It's also consideration because, you know, in a couple of years we may have solar panels that are 30% efficient versus the 24-25% efficient they are now, which means you're getting more power from your solar panels. So we want to make sure we have some headroom in there. But Anuj is doing some amazing things along with Alex, and you know, they're making some great progress on the solar side.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, Jerry, take it away.
Hey, so a little clarification on the beta builds. Is each individual beta car going to have their own design for their own specific set of tests? In other words, are they each going to be unique for what they're testing?
Yeah, but we may double up the testing on some of the beta vehicles. So like if a beta vehicle is set to be, you know, a suspension test vehicle, and it goes out and it does a month of testing on that, then it may become an HVAC testing vehicle, and then it may become a vision system testing vehicle. So we may get double and triple duty out of some of the vehicles. Probably depends on how far they have to be sent to get the testing. So, you know, if they go to Michigan and there's 3 different vendors in Michigan that are doing different tests, then, you know, may pull double, triple duty. Most of them will probably stay in San Diego, but several of them will be leaving San Diego to other parts of the world.
And what about the wide variation in number of the beta builds between 6 and 12? Is that because some of the cars aren't complete cars?
You know, we have this designation alpha, beta, gamma, delta. For us internally, it was a simple way to just break out the development process into different stages. It really is an analog to, you know, software development. But for us, what it means is how close to production intent is that variant of, you know, the development program. And basically when it's 100 or close, 98% production parts in the vehicle, then it's a delta. It's pretty close to production, right? So it's more a measure of how much production worthy content is in the vehicle versus what stage it is. So we've kind of not been using the stages as much in our planning, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. The beta, gamma, and deltas are kind of blending together because we've signed some really significant strategic supply agreements over the last couple of months. And that has made, you know, the vision for all the production content much easier to kind of put together. So we may kind of mash all those together to where the beta just becomes a really long beta program until we start to build pre-production vehicles. But, you know, I don't want to promise anything on the nomenclature, but that's kind of the rationale behind why we're calling those things.
And is there going to be a specific beta just for crash testing?
Yes, several. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
Okay.
Gary. Okay, great questions. All right, Rex, how are you? Good to see you.
Great, good to see you. Thanks for putting this on. So I have a couple of questions. One being, how's the solar panel development going? And the other, which everybody is wanting to know, is when do you anticipate the first production vehicles coming out?
Anuj is making great progress on the solar side, along with our power conversion team. Looking out the window here, and I see several new big ovens and big roof solar panels that we're kind of jumping over to get around the shop. So I think we've gotten to the point where we're starting to durability test some of our solar panel assemblies. So we kind of are starting to put some teeth behind what the production solar panel looks like, and how heavy it is, how thick it is, what sort of resistance to hail and the elements and just time is. So we're getting very close to a production intent solar device. On the production front, we are pushing to start production in the later part of 2022. We would love to see that accelerated, but signing significant strategic supply agreements during COVID has been it's been difficult. Chris can't hop on a plane and go shake hands in other countries now, so it's been really difficult to bring those things together. And I think what should have been a couple month progress plan has turned into like a 6-month plan to get those people lined up. But I think we've made great progress over the last couple months, and those agreements have started to come together. So I think that positions us well to then have kind of a 6-month development plan that gets us into production later in 2022.
Thanks for asking that question, Rex. We know it was on the minds of everyone on this call, so thank you. Okay, we'll go Jacob, and I'm just going to ask you guys, because I want to just involve as many people as possible. Probably just keep your one best question if you don't mind, so that we'll just give as many more people. We'll try to get this wrapped up. We'll maybe do another couple of questions, and we'll get moving on. So, Jacob.
Hi. So was the company planning on shipping a mobile experience alongside like the first Aptera Motors vehicle being delivered to someone?
A mobile experience, like a delivery experience?
Oh no, just like for like the Fords, they have the Ford Pass. GM has my GMC or my Chevrolet, or Tesla has the Tesla app to control the vehicle controls.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We have a designer working on some app development now to kind of start our thinking about that. It is pretty low on our priority list, but we did engage a couple months ago to start developing that. And I think we're lucky that because we have some good examples out there in the industry to follow. People have gotten kind of used to these apps and what they want from them, and especially on the Tesla front. I mean, I like my Tesla app. It works great. I can do almost anything with my vehicle from a distance. So
Okay, thank you, Jacob. Stan.
Oh, thank you guys very much. I'll be brief. And you made lots of references to Tesla, and also this idea was sparked when somebody asked about the heat pump. Do you, as a brand, do you have a vision that you would come up with additional models when you have our first one, like something that would be maybe 4-seater or maybe 4 wheels or something, just like Tesla when they came up? Can you hear me?
Yeah. We're just sorry.
Okay.
Someone else.
Just like Tesla said, okay, we'll come with Model S, then X, then E, and then Y. Would you consider having something like that, like a vision? Hey, after we have this one, we'll make another one. Thank you.
We do. We think that aerodynamics, a lightweight, efficient powertrain, solar power is extensible to almost any vehicle segment you can imagine. So, we certainly have machinations on bigger versions of the Aptera, ones that are more capable, have some more utility, things that can seat 5 passengers. You can have more camping and, adventure utility out of it, and possibly something that aligns well with package delivery. So, pretty much anything that has, more cargo space means that you can shove packages in them. We think that one big impediment to electric vehicle adoption for commercial applications is you not only have to adopt the electric vehicle, you also have to adopt the charging infrastructure. So with Aptera, if you could get 60, 80 miles a day of solar charge range into a bigger Aptera device, then we could sell into applications where they're like, great, we don't have to pay for fuel, we don't have to pay for the charging infrastructure, and we can still deliver all of our Amazon or Uber Eats or whatever types of things that you want to deliver.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Quincy's given me a look, which means that we're getting close to time here. So we're going to take 2 more questions, and then anyone who didn't get their questions answered, please put those in the chat, and then we'll do our best to get back to you guys. And if we have answers, send those to you or create content around those. So if you don't get your questions answered, I'm sorry, but please put those in the chat and we'll get those to you. So we'll take Philip and then one more question.
Hello, is that me, Phil Watson?
That works, Philip.
Yep, you're good.
Great, excellent. Well, I actually have 2 questions, very quick. I'm in the UK. First time I've managed to one of these calls, so hi everybody. What is your planned date for getting vehicles to the UK? And also, do you plan to do anything, like a small boutique like Tesla have to have these vehicles? So we can start getting a public presence in the UK sales arena. That's my first question. My next question was quickly, what do you guys think about integrating the battery and using it as part of as a Tesla Powerwall in the vehicle for solar charging on your home? That would be a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, the UK and many parts of Europe are relatively easy in the beginning because they have these minimum thresholds where you can ship 1,000, 1,500 vehicles to a particular country and not have to be, compliant with all the kind of automotive standards. So in the beginning, it's relatively easy. As we grow our brands in different parts of Europe and Germany, it will become more difficult as we ship, thousands of vehicles. But initially, the hurdles aren't too hard to just get vehicles over to you in the UK and Norway and Germany and Spain. So hopefully that won't be a large impediment early in production. We have not really discussed any presence in Europe yet. It's another one of those things that's way down the priority list. We have, over 15,000 people that need their Apteras now. So, we don't need to boost sales because we're already, so backlogged and just being able to deliver the 15,000 vehicles that we have in order. On the Powerwall side, we do hope to be able to grid tie or local grid tie or house tie the vehicle at some point. We don't know how we're going to do that yet, though. There are many kind of options on the table. There is a J1772 standard to be able to grid tie or home tie, but nobody seems to be using it yet. So, we have to kind of wait to see if more people adopt that standard, so it makes for an easy plug. Or we also have, kind of a simple DC link where you could link 48 volts from the Aptera back to a 48 volt Powerwall system at your house. And then that would make for kind of easy power transfer. But we do really like the idea of being able to use the excess power generation of the Aptera to either power your home or do things like SETI research or DNA sequencing, or there's a whole host of things that you can do with the compute power on the Aptera to use that extra energy. What you don't want to do is just waste it, because the solar panels actually turn into resistors if you're not using the power out of them. So we want to use the power for something. So we are exploring all alternatives there.
Great question. Thank you, Philip. Okay, last question from Michael, and then please put your other questions in the chat and we will get back to you guys. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. I think you just answered my question, but I was interested in the bidirectionality and being able to use the car as a backup source in case there's a blackout.
Yeah, again, if we have a DC link, that's relatively easy. You know, if we have a 48-volt link from the vehicle to your home, or even if it's a 12-volt link, you know, then you can basically suck power from your Aptera to power your home in some sort of disaster scenario.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
So
Michael.
many questions. I'm really sorry we couldn't get to answer everyone's questions. The good news is we are going to be planning one of our more in-depth webinars with Chris and Steve, and maybe even some of our engineers, because I know there are a lot of these technical questions that you would like answered, and we would like to answer them for you. So we will definitely be planning something probably in early January where we can answer a lot of these more technical questions. Maybe we'll even do it from our new facility, but we really appreciate all of the questions and the thoughts and the ideas, and please feel free to send them in the chat, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. But any last words?
We're excited to share more. You know, a lot of the you know, bigger questions that you guys probably have on the technical side, we've been aloof about, because until we lock down supply on certain components, it's just hard to answer questions. You know, specificity on you know, initial battery pack stuff, you know, even the solar capabilities, you know, how those production solar panels come together will in the end give us a solar, you know, capability number. Basically, the more protected the solar panels are, the less power they produce, unfortunately. So the more robust Nuge is making these panels, sometimes the power goes down and there's a cost hit. So we're trying to balance all those things in supply chain. And obviously we've been making some tremendous progress just on the design side, which you know, makes the vehicle, you know, more capable, safer, performs better. But until we kind of lock those things down, you know, in a production intent version, it's hard to answer your guys' questions in anything but generalities. So thanks for sticking with us. Thank you so much for the support. Thanks for sharing the love for Aptera all around the world. It's amazing that we have over 10,000 investors now. We have over 15,000 pre-orders. And it's because of a lot of the hard work that you guys are doing and spreading the Aptera love. But I believe in a solar powered EV future, and I'm glad that you guys do too. So keep the questions coming, and we'll work hard to answer them, even though we have a very small team to do so. I know that Sarah and Quincy and Audra are working hard to keep you guys in the answers and, you know, concerns that you guys have been pinging us with. So.
Okay, thank you. Yay, that's great. I'm really glad Chris was able to join us. Thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna have Audra kick it back into the next phase of our discussion here. For those of you who can stay on, I warned you that it was gonna be a long call. So I think this is more of like the tactical kind of side. For those of you who are involved in participating in committees and things like that, this is where we're going to talk a little bit more around, you know, exactly what's happening in the communities and what that is going to look like going forward. So Quincy, do you want to discuss anything here?
Yeah, okay. Awesome. I'll go ahead and get the conversation started. You guys, as you know, we've obviously set up our three ambassador committees: communications, events, and government relations. And Audra and Sarah and I are, you know, just so grateful and so lucky to have you guys as we're kind of moving through this whole process and this whole journey. And we really just wanted to give you guys the opportunity as the year comes to an end to give you, you know, kind of the spotlight to share the amazing work that you've done. We get emails every single day from all of you guys kind of, you know, giving us your ideas, sending us proposals. You know, you guys share full-blown presentations about the different ideas you have for Aptera, and then, you know, the ways that you guys can help us. And it's so amazing and so awesome. And so we really just wanted to say thank you and really encourage your guys's, you know, I guess, help and support and hard work by kind of opening up the discussion. Obviously, if you're not available to stay for the rest of the phone call, no worries at all. This is totally voluntary, but I think that it'd be awesome for our ambassadors to kind of get the opportunity to, you know, communicate and engage together. So we're going to run through this community discussion by committees. So communications will start off first, and we've identified a couple different volunteers from your guys' group to kind of kick off the discussions based off different communications that we've had with all of you guys. So first off, we're going to go ahead and get started with the community discussions in the communications committee. another tongue twister for you guys today. But Raj, if you guys don't know Raj, he's one of our fellow ambassadors. He does some amazing video content for Aptera. You guys should check out his channel, which he should share in the chat with you guys as well. But he's going to give us a little bit of a presentation on some of the work that he's been doing with his YouTube comments and his giveaway. And if you're here, Raj, we'd love to hear from you. And then after Raj is done with his presentation, if anyone has any ideas or I guess different projects or updates that you guys wanted to share, or even suggestions for me and Audra in regards to our communications or social media or anything like that, we'd love to, facilitate those as well. So if you don't want to participate in these discussions, please lower your hands via the reactions button on the toolbar. And for now, we'll go ahead and get started with Raj.
Thank you, everyone. One thing I did recently to kind of channel all this passion and excitement from all of our community is you guys sent me a swag package to do a giveaway. I had some 3D prints printed locally with various libraries to kind of get them for the cheat. And it was interesting to see just from a small giveaway how much global coverage as far as the winners were from. We got many in the US, we got one from Canada, one from Australia, one from Cyprus. And to enter the contest, they just had to describe Aptera in one word to kind of get them, because the idea was this word cloud, and that's why I did it that way. And also the top 3 reasons why they're excited about Aptera. And just to kind of keep that all in one list. So there's like a forum post, there's a Facebook post, and then on one of my videos too.
Yeah, it's so awesome, Raj. I love how sexy is one of the main words used to describe Aptera.
Yeah, that's surprising, but it is, it really is.
Yeah, Jason Hill, I'm sure our designer would love to hear that.
Yeah, of course, efficient. You've got the functional as well, so you got both sides.
Yeah. And this will be an ongoing list, so new replies will come in and I'll update this image, every week or 2, depending on replies. But yeah, I'm proud to be an ambassador, investor, and pre-order holder. And thank you for everyone in Aptera doing what you do, and all the fellow ambassadors getting the word out and keeping that excitement going. So thank you.
Thank you, Raj. We so appreciate you and all of your hard work. So thank you for putting this together for us. Super awesome. If anyone else in the communications committee wants to, share any projects that you guys have been working on, or I know Rex is on the line, who's been doing all kinds of amazing stuff on Twitter. Just if anyone wants to, participate, we'd love to hear from you. And we'd like to, just kind of aggregate some of your guys' suggestions and ideas.
Yeah, I don't know if Neil, are you on? I think you might be able to speak with, how you've been able to work with the media a little bit. Neil was actually really instrumental in helping us to get the Wall Street Journal article, which hopefully you guys all saw. It's actually,
oh yeah,
it's right here in the future. If you haven't seen the Future of Everything issue, and this is so exciting to see when we got this in hard copy. I'll just find you here. If you can see this, guys, but it was like, we're in the full page. We have a full page in the Wall Street Journal from top to bottom, an entire page dedicated to Aptera, which was really impressive and amazing. So Neil, and it was part of Neil's work and knowing that the Wall Street Journal was working on this and reaching out to the reporter. And so anything like that anyone would want to share, or Neil, if you want to give tips about anyone who's moderating. I know we probably have some forum moderators who are on here. We probably have, I don't know if we have Bruce, our Reddit moderator, but all of the work that you guys do is just, it's really critical. So anything you guys wanted to share, now's the time. Otherwise, we'll keep it moving.
Yeah, this is Neil. The way that worked out was this reporter was interviewing me about my full self-driving on my Tesla. And in the discussion, I started to mention about Aptera and the solar energy being used for it. And she didn't know anything about it. So I said, well, you need to check it out. Here's the link to their website and everything else. And I said, you know, if you want to actually talk to the people involved with it, I can hook you up. And so that's how that happened. And I was glad that I was able to do that.
That was great. Yeah, thank you. But that's just a good example. I think another thing that would be helpful, well, one piece of news from the marketing department is we do have a new PR person who's going to be starting, hopefully, who is amazing. We're just going to be making an offer to her this week. She's currently out in New York and hopefully she'll be coming here. Hopefully she'll accept. I don't want to curse it, but she's amazing. But I think seeing a lot of times if you see, oh, there's this article, but Aptera should really be mentioned in it, or this reporter should know about it, or anything like that, where you think we really need to get in front of this person, we need to educate them. As Neil said, you know, this reporter didn't even have Aptera on her radar screen. So if there's opportunities where you think people should be aware of the company, or, you know, we should, you know, comment on those articles, those are all good opportunities to get involved with communications. So unless anyone has anything else for that, I think we can go ahead and move on.
Thank you, Neil. So we're going to hop into the events community discussion. And first off, I would like to, if Ray's here, Ray Holland, he sent us actually a guide to effective events, and he did an amazing job. I just wanted him to kind of expand upon that and the work and kind of like his experience in hosting successful events. So Ray, are you want to go off of mute?
There we go.
Perfect.
Good.
And you got my video?
Yes. How are you?
Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay. Glad to be here. And thanks for the opportunity to be part of the adventure. And what I wanted to share was really two things this morning. One, a bit about the events committee. I've volunteered to help facilitate the development of that. And obviously Anne and Audra and Sarah are doing the lion's share of the work, but as a volunteer, I'll do whatever I can to help facilitate that moving forward. And I'll share with you a bit about my thoughts about the events committee, and then also the document that Audra just mentioned. So first and foremost, when I think about the events committee, I immediately think about, well, how does this compare to Aptera, the company? Obviously, the company is building the vehicle, and the events committee I see as building the enthusiasm or interest in the vehicle. If we don't have interest, then no matter how good the vehicle is, that doesn't result in sales. So the heart and soul of the events committee is to get people interested in the Aptera itself. Clearly, at this point, we don't have Apteras to drive, much to everyone's chagrin. And I'd like to have one in my Christmas stocking too, but that's not going to be happening this year anyhow. But even though we cannot drive the Aptera, we can do the main task of the events committee, I believe, is to drive people to the website. Because at the website, you will get the two critical ingredients in my book. The ingredient number one, credible information. It's very easy to throw around wild promises of you can drive 5,000 miles, you know, without refueling, etc. But it's a whole other thing to have credible and transparent information. And I think the company is and the whole team has done a great job in doing that. And in my book, that's what sets Aptera apart. So we want to drive people to the website, get them credible information, and present that with enthusiasm and conviction. It's not just a dry set of technical specs that's going to convince somebody to invest their time or their dollars in Aptera. It's getting some enthusiasm behind that. So toward that end, I started thinking about, well, what sort of how do we begin to concentrate all this energy on the events committee, much like a single battery cell doesn't drive an Aptera down the road. No single person can drive events forward. We have to work as a team. And to do that, we have to have some shared best practices. And so I put together a brief document that just gathered together some thoughts that I've had in my own career in planning events that might be useful in guiding the energy and the contributions that folks are willing to make on the events committee. That document, I presume, could be shared. I cannot put that into the chat myself, but I think we have a copy of that, Audra, so I'm not sure how you want to, if you can put that into the events committee folder. And I frankly see this as a living document. I had intended to put some thoughts down there to get people's thinking started. This is an exciting time. I think doing events is for Aptera is a bit of a clean sheet of paper. Like, how do we do this and how do we move this forward? I think in short, now I'll end with this so that we can move on. I think in short, our best bet is to partner up with existing online events or in-person events, given that we do not have vehicles to drive into an auditorium at this point. It would be best if we can leverage existing events, Sierra Club meetings, Rotary Club, et cetera, things of that nature, especially any organization or club that's related to sustainability or energy efficiency, solar energy, things of that nature. And that's probably the low-hanging fruit that we can get going on. So I'm really looking forward to more ideas and sharing information and doing whatever I can to help move this interest forward and to do our part to build interest while they're building the vehicle. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ray. I think Audra is putting in Ray's document into the chat, so that will be something you guys can all take a look at. We'll also add it to our library of ambassador information that we have online, so you guys can reference that and take a look at that and use those best practices. So I think a big part of why we're doing what we're doing today is because we have so many experienced and knowledgeable people in our community. It's what makes Aptera's community so unique. And so thank you, Ray, for sharing that knowledge, and I hope everyone else will continue to do the same. Before we move on, we have Zach, and then if Larry's on, I would love Larry to talk really quickly about CES, but Jerry, did you have a question? Or maybe?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So one of the big, I think, stumbling blocks to acceptance with this is people will automatically dismiss the Aptera, and I run into this a lot, because it has 3 wheels. So they think, oh, it's not a car, it's a motorcycle. So I think there needs to be something, and I don't know what the strategy would be to address that concern. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It certainly does make sense. For all of you who are involved in, communications, are there things that are there responses that you have used that you feel are really successful when you get that objection? Are there any best practices from within the group that you think would be helpful to share with Jerry? Anyone who's okay. Well, I think, from my own personal experience, I think, what I say when I hear that objection is, Aptera was created for one specific purpose. It is the most efficient vehicle on the planet. It is the most energy efficient way to get from point A to point Z. And I think I like to really mention or remind people that the Aptera 3-wheel vehicle that we see now is the first in a line of solar electric vehicles that Aptera will be creating. So our vision is much broader. We want to change the world. We want to create a greener and healthier future for our planet. And the way that we do that is by starting, with a vehicle that is so unique. And we are the company who is, one of the few who is brave enough to actually do something like this, where, we really want to change the world. It doesn't happen by creating a vehicle that looks like every other vehicle. So the reason why our vehicle looks so unique is because it's absolutely the most efficient thing that our founders could possibly come up with, using science, using inspiration from nature to be able to help to accomplish our mission. And, you know, certainly in the future, we'll see other types of aerodynamic, lightweight vehicles that may look very different from our first three-wheel vehicle. But that's kind of the answer that at least I use from a marketing standpoint. It sounds like, you know, maybe Rex, you know, you have your hand up here, or if there's any other, you know, communication that we want to have about that. I think that's a great question. And I think it's an important, you know, certainly an important point. So we can stick on that for a minute.
Yeah, I think there's something really unique about Aptera, which is that, yeah, it is a three-wheeled vehicle, but the beauty of it is it's also got a fully enclosed cabin, just like a regular car. So it kind of pulls together the cost effectiveness of having a car or having a motorcycle or a trike rather, but having a lot of the utility that a normal car has. So to me, that's what I kind of differentiate or try to explain about the three-wheel vehicle benefit. So I don't know if that helps any.
That's helpful, Rex.
That's what I tell people.
And I think Quincy reminded me too, I think another point of education that we need to make with people is that Aptera is actually an auto cycle, you know, so it is a whole unique, different type of vehicle. While it's classified as a motorcycle, we're not a motorcycle, you know, we are technically, you know, with three wheels, but really we're, you know, a unique, very unique vehicle. So I think that's an important point of education as well. So we'll do, it looks like Victor, did you have something that you wanted to say quickly, and John, and then we have a couple other presentations. So I want to try to keep it moving to make the most of your time here today. But Victor, did you have a response to that? Oh, you're on
Victor,
mute.
You're on mute.
There you go.
Am I on?
Yep.
Yeah, I get that same response all the time from several people. But besides the efficiency factor and all the benefits that we get with the Aptera, I also mentioned that most people can still keep a family car. And this vehicle is very effective for commuters, because I see about well over 90% of the people on the freeway going to work, coming from work during rush hour, are single drivers. It's also
Uh-oh. Looks like Victor might be having some connection difficulties there.
Oh.
Sorry, Victor, we lost you for a second there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the hills, so I lose connection sometimes. Am I okay now?
You're okay.
Okay. I've noticed that the majority of the people who commute to work are single drivers, and it's very, very efficient, very effective to have this vehicle while you maintain your family car, if that's the case. I also mentioned to them that Aptera does have other vehicles in the future, and much like Tesla, they started with the coupe, a two-seater. This vehicle, the Aptera that we have, has a performance that is comparable to a two-seater coupe that is a sports vehicle.
Uh-oh. Shoot.
Making great points, but
Yeah, it's really good points, Victor.
and it's
hopefully you can hear me again.
You're back.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I do have the fact that Aptera does have ideas to manufacture four-wheel cars as well as pickup and delivery vehicles in the future. So with that in mind, after we introduce this very novel concept of the motor vehicle, I think that Aptera is here to stay on the long run, and they can then purchase a vehicle for the family when those come into production.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, those are great points, Victor. Thank you so much for sharing. I
pleasure.
really appreciate that. John, did you want to add anything to that?
Just quickly, I think we can be too apologetic for the three-wheel stuff. I think, and I think we can make a mistake of promising, well, the real cars are somewhere down the line. I think the Aptera is a wonderful two-seat car, and I'll put it up against my Boxster. I'll put it up against almost any of the other two-seat cars around. And I mean, it has the performance of my Tesla Y performance. I don't think we need to apologize. And I think the emphasis on, oh, it's a three-wheel and that's really weird, but don't worry, forget it. Just go ahead. It's a wonderful two-seat car. And there are lots of competitors for wonderful two-seat cars. And then also, by the way, it's efficient, blah, 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 blah. If you're into efficiency, a lot of people aren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is we don't need to be defensive.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that's great.
We don't need to promise a real car down the line. This is a real car.
That's
Good
a really
point.
great point. Thank you so much, John. That's great. Thank you. If anyone else has any thoughts on this topic, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Would be great to hear from everyone. I really appreciate all the participation. That's wonderful. So with the time we have, Zach, did you want to talk a little bit about some of the ideas you had as far as events? Are you on today?
Are you going to talk to me?
I'm going to go to you right after Zach, Larry. You're next.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Zach, yeah, we can. Go for it.
Okay, great. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen here.
Let me make sure I'm pausing my share. Okay.
Let's see. Why is... Oh, let's see. Okay, we're... Okay, see if that works now, Zach.
Yeah, try again.
If not, you can always put, there you
There
go.
we go.
Okay, great. All right. Well, let's see. Starting out here. People say about the free response. I just said if a car and a motorcycle had a baby, you get an Aptera. So that's my response. But dovetailing with what Ray said about the events, moving on here. So basically, we want to be outreaching to do two purposes. We want to make sure that we expand the brand awareness, and we want to recruit future talent. So basically, one of the first things with starting out with younger talent is a Technology Student Association. That's basically a group that's comprised of middle school and high school students. About 250,000 members currently, and over 5 million members since 1978. They have national, state, and local conferences, basically consisting of competitions. And the objective is, or possible objective, I should say, is for Aptera to have some sort of, involvement in a conference, possibly sponsor a competition, offer internships or prizes, like factory tour, take Aptera to, to school for a STEM show and tell, that, that type of thing. There is justification for higher education outreach, just as with building brand awareness and recruitment with high school students, you want to do the same as the collegiate level. According to a survey done by Car Gurus, more than half of college graduates purchase a vehicle after graduating, and only about 1% of those students actually want to participate in rideshare. So people still believe in the vehicle concept. About 57% say they would pay for the vehicle themselves. 67% said they would purchase a used vehicle, and 46% said they would purchase a vehicle at $15,000 or less. And with the tax credit, theoretically speaking, a lot more people would be able to afford a brand new vehicle from Aptera because with the tax credit and an entry-level model, it brings it down to that level. Specific groups to target would be engineering students, marketing majors, environmental science majors. You're basically the ultimate and environmentally friendly vehicle, and also poli-science majors. As the world's getting so polarized and divided, we actually have a vehicle that is popular across the entire political spectrum. A vehicle is popular with environmentally conscious individuals, as well as fiscal conservatives that don't want to spend, money on commuting. And this would help in the future for, if we influence poli-sci majors at the collegiate level, then that would, help in lobbying efforts in the future, and also, having future government service vehicles. Moving on to with the STEM and basically engineering majors. SAE, I've had a few conversations with several of the individuals there. They are extremely interested in Aptera. They're really hoping that Aptera becomes part of the part of SAE, either at a local or national level or both. But they really like what we have going on. SAE, of course, has 128,000 members worldwide, and a possible goal is to start networking with SAE in Aptera's backyard, and then later, as the brand and vehicles develop, move to the national stage. And there are a variety, of competitions and conferences that may be appealing to Aptera and Aptera's fan following. Moving on, several other different engineering groups. I've reached out to several, but only a few responded, and these are the very dedicated ones. SAE, this Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers and Society of Women Engineers. Both of them are extremely interested in partnering or working with Aptera. These other groups both have a strong relationship with SAE, and SAE actually encouraged Aptera to make sure we are in contact with these folks. So basically the goal is the same as with the TSA and the SAE. Start at the ground level or at the the grassroots, the local level, and then as the brand expands, as budgets become available, as Aptera employees actually get time, because everyone's super busy right now, then move out into a national stage. I'm not sure if this if you can see the map on my screen, or if this video is
Zach, I
blocking it.
think you just need to use the arrows to go down to the 6th slide if you can. We can see your like the cover screen, but we haven't been able to follow along.
Oh, 6th slide. Okay. Well, I've been hitting that.
Oh.
You're saying you haven't been able, you've only been able to see the cover screen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Let's see. Not sure what the technical difficulty is. Let me try.
There we go. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, great. All right. Well, we'll do it this way. I apologize. I didn't know you all didn't know.
No worries.
So-
Sorry, I should have said something sooner, but I wanted to give you the chance to speak. But now we can see. So if you just go, I think you were on the 6th slide with the map. So
Okay. Yeah.
there we go. Right?
All
Is that
right.
where you were?
There we go. Okay. Can you all see that now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, oh well, hindsight's always 20/20. I can make this presentation available to Quincy if anyone wants to, to see it.
Yeah, for sure. You can send it out.
But anyway, so moving on. Yeah, so the outreach, moving on to basically marketing. We covered the engineering. Now you move on to marketing. Why? Because with the American Marketing Association, 38,000 members, 320 active collegiate chapters, and basically we have the ultimate sales rep vehicle. And again, you want to work at the local level, expand to national conferences, and this would give the Aptera marketing team new ideas, new campaigns, and then it's also be twofold. We can not only recruit talent but promote it. And then there's just a little map of all the collegiate chapters active in the United States, and there's, as you can see, some abroad. Moving on to Aptera depositor involvement. And this has already been mentioned ever before. I apologize. Basically, we could have Track My Ride. It's a good way to keep depositors interested, basically showing them the production status of their vehicle. You can show them online. This tool may also provide numbers on seriously interested parties and keeping web traffic up. Additionally, Aptera could offer See My Aptera, which would basically give people the option to physically see their Aptera at the plant. General Motors did this with the Corvettes. They charged about $900, and people could actually go and watch their vehicle be produced on the floor. And Aptera could either charge a price for this or have some sort of lottery, and then pick a lucky several depositors to go have it done. And they could even, if it would be legally possible, go even above and beyond and basically have some customers pay to help assemble their Aptera at the plant. Obviously, this is just a concept. Then we have one other thing here in regards to depositor involvement. We could create basically an interactive map that plots every town and country where an Aptera depositor is located. Ask depositors what else you would like to see Aptera do, initiatives for the company, new features or capabilities on their vehicle. And then also with Share Your Aptera, once an owner customizes their vehicle with all their detailed options, colors, that type of thing, post on their social media and Instagram and so forth. And then clicking it brings you right to the Aptera's website, design your own so other people can do the same. So that's pretty much it. If there's any questions, I'll take some. Otherwise, I'll throw it back to you, Quincy, and I appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. That was such an amazing presentation. You always have, such inspiring ideas for us at Aptera. So I definitely was happy that you were able to present today to the rest of the group. I love the ideas about the depositor involvement. And, that's one of our biggest hurdles here at Aptera is really making sure everyone who is, waiting for their vehicle, including all of you guys, are still, engaged and excited and can follow along in the process throughout production. So super excited that you were able to share these ideas, and I'll definitely make sure that the rest of the group has the link to Zach's presentation slides in case you guys missed anything like that. So very cool. If anyone has any questions for Zach, feel free to raise your hand. If not, I know Larry, who has been working closely with Sarah to develop a plan for CES, is on the line and ready to speak to the group about his ideas.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi, Larry. How are you?
Very good. Okay, I'm out of Canada near Toronto, and CES has always been a show which is consumer electronics show. And I happen to be charging, and this gentleman from Sanoy says, and we started talking about CES. And he says, well, the show is, he says, I go every year. And he says, the show is now 35 to 40% electric vehicle related. So I decided I was going, which I am. And I reached out to the Aptera people about bringing a vehicle. Now, they're not totally confirming that yet, but there's really good chance there'll be one in Las Vegas January 4 and 5, which are the two press days for CES. And then I was asked, well, would you like to put together a ambassador meeting, breakfast, whatever? Understand I'm an event planner. I've been driving EVs for over 4 years. I had the third Bolt in Canada, and I can hardly wait to do this. I have a website, which is where, once we get this all solved, and it's called Green Events NA for North America.com. And I'm looking at doing a breakfast meetup at Circus at 9 a.m. on January the 6th. And I'm hoping that they hold the vehicle over until the morning so that you guys get to see it. And that's kind of where we're standing right now, is that it would be great to do a meetup. If that happens, I hope you can see these. I'm going to end up doing, Sarah has come up with enough funds to actually do ambassador badges tied into the country that you come from. What I'll be wearing at the show is going to be, if you can see that. So basically it's about, promoting the product and letting everybody know it exists, and hopefully getting people like Zach and Jesse from Now We Know, or I forget his name, but from E for Electric, maybe Sandy Monroe, some of these people out, because most of them will be attending this show because it's a huge show for the electric vehicle. GM is unveiling their pickup truck at the show. So that's kind of where it's at. If people want to participate in this, what you can do is go to greeneventsna.com And the last tab, if you kick on the hamburger, the last tab will be contact me and send me your information. If you're thinking of coming, what I'm probably going to do is post it on National Drive Electric Week page, because it's easy to book in and say that you're coming and contact everybody through that. But we kind of want to know whether there's interest. I will definitely be there. So is there interest in having a breakfast meetup?
Thanks, Larry. Yeah, I mean, I think that there'd be a lot of interest from the group. And if you guys can keep ambassador at aptera.us also involved in those communications with Larry, so we can track who would be interested in coming to the breakfast. It looks like Ron Miller says he'll be there, which is really exciting. And I know we have, I think, between 4 and 6 ambassadors who are actually residents of Las Vegas. So I think that there'll probably be a bit of local support as well. From our side, we'll be sure to keep you guys really up to date and posted on what Aptera's plans are. We definitely will have our team there, and we are really looking forward to bringing Aptera. If all goes as planned, we should be able to have the vehicle there, and we'll confirm the dates with Larry and the rest of you to make sure that we can host some sort of event with Aptera.
One comment that I do want to, I don't know if you people been to CES before or not, they do have $100 charge to go on the trade show floor. But if you know any of the participants that are actually displaying, most of them are happy to give away a code that their corporation has, which gives you a free pass to the trade show floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great tip, Larry. And Aptera won't have a booth within the actual trade show floor. However, a lot of our partners like Roush and Alafe do plan on having those booths at the trade show. So we'll be sure to share that information with you guys if you're able to, take advantage of any promotion codes or anything like that. But for now, if you guys are interested in joining the meetup or attending CES and coming to see Aptera, and Larry and other ambassadors, you guys can go ahead and contact Larry via his website, greeneventsna.com, and also loop in ambassador at aptera.us so that we can be sure to track exactly who's coming and all of that good stuff. So thanks so much, Larry. I really appreciate you participating in the discussion today.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be really fun. I can't wait myself.
Me either. I'm so excited. Roy Dudley did want to speak a bit about the embajador. Roy, do you want to go into it? It's about the embajadores of Mexico. He kind of wants to start like a club there. So Roy, take it away.
Okay, Audra, thank you so much. Hola a todo mundo. Welcome to Jalapa, Veracruz, which has been my home for the last 49 years. I'm the Gringo Jalapeño. I've been a active member of Rotary International for the last 38 years. And I'm networking with the fellow Rotarians all over Latin America. I have about 250 possible members through the Rotary Club to become embajadores for the Aptera team. So, and they are very, very enthused about the whole thing. And what they really want to know, Audra, is a business plan to be able to set up assembly points all over Latin America. I think these are all business people who have tremendous contacts all through the government and commerce and entrepreneurial people. And I think this is a really unique opportunity because in previous meetings on the Zoom with the ambassadors, several people mentioned giving talks to the Rotary clubs, and that's an excellent way to network. And I think there's something that's coming up for next year that would be an excellent opportunity for Aptera. Edwin Velarde, who lives in, I think it's in San Jose, is a fellow Rotarian. He is 60 years old now. He's had type 1 diabetes diagnosed since he was 29. And he's going to do an epic journey for the from Chicago or the Evanston, Chicago, to the International Rotary Convention in Houston from the 4th to the 8th of June next year. And I thought this would be an incredible opportunity, and I like the opinions of the rest of the ambassadors, to have a Aptera go with Edwin on his epic journey against diabetes from Chicago to Houston. It would be an absolutely incredible opportunity for Aptera to get itself out physically. We would be visiting Rotary clubs, we would be visiting different communities all during the whole, it'd take him about 3 weeks to do this trip. And I think it's a unique opportunity for everybody. So I just thought I'd like to get people's opinions on that, what they think. Was it viable, and would they like to participate too?
Yeah, I really wanted to give you just the floor to tell everyone about this idea. I know we spoke about this one-on-one, and I think you have some amazing ideas. So if we can get some other ambassadors together who are interested, if you want to provide your email in the chat window or
Sure.
even on the forum, and anyone who's interested can email you. Just for the sake of time, we do have one more quick presentation here.
Well, thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate that very much.
Of course. Thank you so much, Roy. We're so grateful to have you, and looking forward to seeing what comes from that, and hearing more about Edwin's journey as well. And I know that that's been in the works for some time. So thank you so much.
Okay, adios.
Adios. All right. And then we have one more. We're going to talk about the Government Relations Committee here. And David, if you want to kind of tell us a bit about COP26 and everything that happened there. I know it's a very successful event, and it was wonderful to have you representing Aptera. I think you might be on mute. Oh, there we go.
Okay, everybody can see my screen, I assume.
Yes.
From 208 3473 200406.
There we go.
Okay, so this is a brief report on our trip to COP26 in Glasgow. Every morning we got to wake up with sunrise and sheep, and our day would start very early and go till about midnight. And we thought about, somebody said earlier about the Aptera being sexy. We happened to be there as they were making a celebration of James Bond's birthday, November 11th. And we thought how cool and sexy it would be to drive down these roads in Scotland with an Aptera if we had one there. Once we arrived at the conference, after going through COVID testing and 3 security checks, including our COVID check-in, our metal detector check-in, and our facial recognition check-in, we got into the blue zone, where there were 130 countries with different pavilions, different plenary sessions, different workshops and programs, and a lot of conversation. One of the things that impressed me was the United States Representative John Kerry said there were 3 things that needed to happen for COP to be successful. And the first one he said was to accelerate the scaling up of proven technologies, bringing China into the existing agreements of US, Canada, Japan, UK, and EU, and getting the developed countries to follow through on the existing financial commitments, not the new ones that they were offering. COP really has a major piece with transportation because road transports account for 10% of global emissions, and it's rising in emissions faster than any other sector. So a shift to zero emission vehicles is already underway, which also is creating new jobs and bringing cleaner air to cities and cutting the costs of car ownership. And to meet those goals, the transition, they said, needs to happen more quickly. So this is where we had an in the COP system to share the Aptera. Some of the things that they're already doing, building consensus to pace the transition to zero emission vehicles, to meet the Paris goals, They've created a brand new zero emission vehicle transition council for the purpose of bringing together governments representing over half of the global car market. And the US and the UK are the co-chairs. So we have an opportunity with Aptera to make some inroads with that group. Also, they're encouraging vehicle manufacturers to show leadership in moving to supply only zero emissions, and they worked out partnerships to do that. One of the breakthroughs was they got 30 countries to agree together to make zero emission the new norm by 2030 or sooner. And then car manufacturers have joined on as well, including Ford, General Motors, Mercedes, Volvo. This might be something that Aptera wants to sign on as well, since we'll be way ahead of everybody being able to say we'll have the goal to do it in 2022. So at the COP building, they had an action hub where they had media. We spent a lot of time sharing the Aptera with media groups, including CNN, MSNBC, Fox, Sky News, Democracy Now!, and a special program that CNN invited us to share the Aptera called The Call to Earth. We also hosted our own separate event that we got entertainment with the ambassador rapper A.Y. Young and the We Dance for the Planet group that's been featured on Netflix and part of the UN system, came to support our program as well. So that was a very successful event where we actually got to present a full presentation on the Aptera, and it was really the hit of the presentations. The next day, the delegation from Bermuda came up to me and asked how they could make it their national car for their government and how they could promote it as the preferred option in Bermuda. So this is just a scene of the celebration of that event. This video is what we use to share with the local pavilions, the people that were delegates from different governments, the different ministers, and so forth.
We live in a world obsessed with expansion and exploration, endlessly searching for answers out there. What if the answer isn't just in the stars? What if infinite possibilities are the ones we've yet to think of? What if the same innovation that helps us out there can also help us here on Earth? Our responsibility is here, to this planet, to create a better tomorrow for future generations. As the world's first never-charged solar electric vehicle, Aptera offers a 1,000-mile range with over 40 miles a day of free solar charging. If 1 out of every 20 vehicles on the road were replaced with an Aptera, Americans would save 18 million gallons of gasoline every day, or 6 billion gallons per year. Each Aptera owner can reduce their carbon footprint by over 14,000 pounds of CO2 per year. That's what 884 25-year-old pine trees can absorb in a year. Imagine a world where technology gives more than it takes. Imagine beyond the stars.
So this was quite effective and got a lot of interest that we're still following up on. One of the highlights of the 2 weeks was actually to have lunch with Chris Anthony and Janice son Burlingame, the chief financial officer of Aptera, where we got to share different ideas. We had vice president from First Climate Bank that is dedicated to using their financial resources to finance new solar things. So they're interested in this now, developing a special program just for the Aptera. And we had the county sustainability director for Orange County, which includes the city of Orlando and 90% of Walt Disney World, as well as SeaWorld and Universal and other theme parks. And he's interested in what this could mean for having Aptera in the rental car market. They're the most visited county in the United States with 78 million visitors a year. So rental car market alone is incredible opportunity for Aptera. So we all had a great time, and we look forward to finding ways to bring Aptera to the international policy discussion, being a best practice what other manufacturers can shoot to try to catch up with. We love the way the French pavilion said it, to make our planet great again. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome, David. That was such a nice presentation, and I'm just blown away about your involvement with Aptera and the reach that you've, allowed us to have at COP26. I think that's incredible. And it looks like in the chat, people are asking for a link to that video, which I think is just, a wonderful representation of Aptera and our company and the impact it can have on the planet. And I'm just so happy that, we're making strides to create that better future. And so, yeah, we thank you so much. And if you can share that video either in the chat or maybe even on our
yeah, no, I'll pull it up and put it in the chat in a minute here.
That
would be great. Yeah, I'm just so proud of all this work, and just it's so exciting for me to hear everything that is going on and all of these great ideas, and just the collaboration that we're seeing between all of these committees and all of you individuals. So it's really inspiring, and I truly believe that it's only just the beginning. So I look forward. I know it's always a little bit challenging. Really look forward to having more of these discussions with you. I'm grateful for the 68 of you that have stayed on now for 2 hours to hear about Aptera and hear about what's happening and hear from your fellow ambassadors on all of these exciting initiatives. So thank you so much. Like I said, we'll be monitoring the chat, and hopefully we can respond to a lot of the questions that came through the course of the day. Yeah, these are the true fans. Alex is right. Anyone who stays until 11 gets an award for being an absolute true hardcore fan. So we're well deserved, and thank you so much. And hopefully you found this beneficial. I think this is one of the most fun ambassador calls that I think we have put on so far, at least from my perspective, and having the ability to hear from all of you and hearing all the questions. And I think it's a really been a great experience. So we look forward to any suggestions you have on how to improve these in the future. And don't worry, we'll keep these coming, and we'll keep the information coming. And we will look forward to seeing some of you at the upcoming CES event, if not at other events. As you know, our home is always open to you here at Aptera for a tour. If you're in town, if you want to come and see the vehicle, we would love to show you around. So know that is your privilege, and we would be honored to have you here anytime that you might want to come visit. So that's always open as well if you can't make it to any of the events. So stay tuned for more updates. And thank you to my co-hosts here, Audra and Quincy, for making this run so flawlessly, and for putting together this fabulous presentation that we have here today, and for organizing all of this great work that you see here. And we wish you all a wonderful holiday season with all of your family and friends. And again, our deepest gratitude is with you for being on this journey with us. And I feel like we're family. I really do. It sounds silly, but it's true. It means a lot to us to have you guys here. So thank you so much. Yeah. And we will talk to you all soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.